guys, good evening, guys, and welcome back to the Football Fans with your boy Temper Banks. And I've got in the house with me some great panels, all the way from Canada, Toronto, Canada. I also want to be there someday. I would let them do the honor to, you know, introduce themselves. So, my boss, carry on.
Drex, you wanna go first? I should. Okay, so again, big up, guys. My name is Tesh, and I'm from what I call the Canada. Though I came from, who also have a channel called the Hub Spot, a United fan. On not so great, my friend here is a Madrid fan. Though I think we could probably they're actually the best in the world currently. We United are still struggling, although we are getting there. Again, just again, big up to everyone, and welcome to the show.
I am going to. I also paste the this thing on the chat now. I'll paste this on the chat.
Okay,
So
Drex,
I'm going
you're on
to
mute.
paste.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
Uh,
hear you.
yeah, my name is Admiral Drex from Diop Sport. Tesh and I, we run Diop Sport. Diop Sport, you could catch anything from. It's more like we are United fan, but we cover anything football. So yeah, so anything football, but we have a bias towards United. But when we need to talk real, we drop the bias and we talk real. That's it. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show today.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Moving on, guys. I would really love to have your say first on the
Okay.
fact that Ten Hag is staying because Manchester United are winning the transfer window. I just hope as they are winning the transfer window, they should also win
Yeah,
the next season like that. Yeah. So first of all, the question is this, man. Like, what is your take on the fact that Ten Hag is staying? Did it come to you as a surprise, or you were actually expecting Ten Hag to stay at the club?
Uh, okay, let me go. So I actually knew had a feeling that I was going to stay, and again I think, but not for the long period where I think that everyone was expecting like a longer contract. If you look at Ines, I think it's a wise decision though. In that, I don't think they can identify who they who they actually want now in that role. Hence, right, the best man at the time is actually Tenag. Hence, they gave him an extra year contract. If they probably make a drastic change, a drastic decision from a management standpoint, and next season goes bad, it almostly tells negatively on them. If they keep Tenag and he goes back, bad, it's more so okay. We've given him an extra year, which majority of the fans was crying for. Now they have that time from now till then to actually get someone that actually suit what they want to do. So I think it's a win-win for both sides, Ineos, the fans, and also Tenag. Right, everyone has 1 year to actually prove what actually they can actually do.
And what's your take, my boss? Address.
Mute, you're on mute.
I'm
I'm just
mute.
gonna, as I said, just gonna add to what. Don't worry, I have my kids. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so I'm used to
Okay.
muting and every time. So I'm just gonna add to what Tesh is saying right there.
Yeah, a
Um,
problem.
He said you're a problem.
A problem. When you have them around, to stream is a problem. So continue.
uh, um, yeah, just to add, right? Don't forget that the co-owner in Sir Jim actually said that the environment at United prior to when they were taking over, it wasn't so great. So they've had top managers, they've had quote and unquote inexperienced manager, right? So all these managers had one thing in common: they all flopped at some point in time. So the man looked at it. Okay, it's not a case of the coaching or the coaches, rather it's a case of the environment. So let's fix the environment, and maybe we might just fix that. And if this man doesn't work, then we know, okay, it's like putting the icing. It's like you having an icing of a cake, right? You haven't really made anything inside. You just created the dough and just put it there. But you want to beautify it by putting a beautiful frosting icing or whatever the your preferences in terms of the icing. So the man is like, you know what? Bake the cake. Let the ingredients of the cake be that good, be strong, so that then the coating and all of that can just be the icing on top. So I think that's what they sat, because people were like, oh, Ten Hag was going to be sacked and all of that, right? Based on the season we left, coming out finishing eighth, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
sackable offense. Managers that have finished even better than that in six positions, they've had the sack, right? But guess
Yeah.
what? It was people that didn't know what they were doing at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
is it, do we want them? Do we want that trend to continue, or do we rather have some people that actually know football, right? At the ends of affair, let them make the decision. That's what majority of the fan base were. I know a lot of people wanted them out, but majority of the fan base was like, you know what,
Yeah.
fix the base first. You can't just build on top of a faulty foundation. Fix the foundation, then everything
Mm-hmm.
goes up brick by brick. Then we know what we are doing at the end of the day. So if, like what Tess said, if come the end of the season, they review it and they say, okay, you were short XYZ areas, right? Performance wise wasn't so good. The style of play isn't still there, or it's not improved, right? We're struggling on the pitch and all of that. Then at that point, when they are making the decision, fans like Tej and I and a whole lot of United fans who have been craving for a structure can actually say, okay, you know what? We hold our hands. I'm like, yo, these guys, they are making the decision for footballing reason, not so much a commercial reason. You understand? That's
Yeah,
my take
true.
on that.
Well, that perfectly said. But for me, you see, like me as a Madrid fan, I am. I can't just imagine Real Madrid finishing eighth in the table. I'm sorry, we are going to burn down the stadium. If that
You're
finish
going
eighth,
to point out
No, no, Banks.
that.
The reason why you can think like that is because over time your club has been run properly. Over
yeah.
time, so imagine a house that has everything, furnitures,
Mm-hmm.
everything built well, right? So,
Yeah.
and you now employ a chef to come in and make delicacies for you because you're having your friends come in, and the first guy come
Mm-hmm.
and you provide everything, and the guy is not delivering. You have the right to kick that guy out because guess what? You put everything in place. But imagine you hiring a top chef, right? And he comes
Yeah.
in, and is when he comes in, they are not trying to think, there no gas, bro, you go
Yeah.
manage firewood. Somebody that doesn't
Yeah.
know how to work with firewood, you say no gas, bro,
Mm.
you go manage kerosene stove. So imagine all those. So for Madrid, right? Madrid have the right to actually say, you know what? Every club have the right to do all of these things, but you have to fix the base, you have to fix the foundation, right? You have to clean house before you start putting those decorations. There's no point putting decoration when the house is going to fall out for the next day.
And that's a clever assessment. I think that's what Sir Jim Ratcliffe actually looked at, right?
Yeah.
There's no what they call there's no reason to think there's no valid reason to actually say, okay, is it the coach? It's looking at historical trends and saying, you know what, coaches have been here, they've done bad, then something is wrong. Now, if I can fix that and the coach is still bad,
Then
I'll
I
change it.
let him go. Yeah.
Okay, now moving forward now, Enos and Sergeant Ratcliffe, they've been actually been doing a good job so far in the transfer window, bringing in players. But for me, I think if I'm going to rate this transfer window for Manchester United, I'm going to rate it on players going out. Because one thing is this, I don't want to hear people telling me about Martial is gone, Varane is gone, Donny van de Beek is gone. Because those are players we know they were going already. Martial and Varane, contract expired. For Donny van de Beek, they just gave him his transfer fee to Girona. And there's no way you guys are believing that you're going to get £5 million in add-ons for that guy.
No, but it was said that if he plays five, I think there was a certain amount of, I think 10 games thereabout. So it's a case of appearance. One of the add-ons was
Oh,
appearance. Yes, appearance was part of the add-on, so it's something that can easily be triggered. The other ones I have to go look into it, but I know appearance was a major one that can easily be triggered.
okay, now, so do you think, how would you rate the transfer incoming already as at the moment for Sergeant Ratcliffe and the Enos? Like, how would you rate the transfer they brought into the club? And
Yes.
and I want to ask again, is
Mm-hmm.
this number nine that was given to Rasmus Højlund?
Mm-hmm.
We live in an era whereby football night is not a joke. And when you look at
Mm-hmm.
Rasmus Højlund and you look at him getting number nine, like guys, you guys have had some bad boys number nine. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about Dwight York,
Mm-hmm.
talk about Ibrahimovic, talk
Mm-hmm.
about Luis Saha, even Anthony Marshall was a
Mm-hmm.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
Then Rasmus Højlund getting the number nine. Does it mean that number nine or shirt numbers doesn't mean anything in football again?
So I'll start with the first one. Looking at from the transfer, I think the transfer though I think United have done fairly well because if you're looking at the Premier League as a whole, it's been more of a struggle, and I think that has to do with the tightening of the financial rules, right?
Yeah.
Which is impacting majority of the clubs. So if you look at what United have done, they've actually, based on even the struggles they've had, based on the previous ownership, right, and the depth and everything, they've done fairly well though to bring what they call two players, and I think they're on the verge of bringing extra two. I think they're trying to hijack Mazraoui as well as Ugarte being actually close. So I think it's fair. But I think what you rightly said initially, right, is this transfer window is measured on outgoings, as in outgoings. We have lots of players that have been in the club for a while, and I think like the ones we've seen that have gone out are basically like they were already on their way. It's actually making those key decisions on what they call some players that we don't see taking us to the next level, making those changes. I think that's where I'll judge uh, the leadership, right, of United. Now going to Rasmus. Rasmus getting number 9. So now it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough, right? So we've United have always brought in number nines. Are actually they are good from the start. They're actually they're very good. They are world class. But you know what? Rasmus is still young, and do I think he will live up to the hype? Time will tell. Now, giving him number 9, is that what they call the right decision? There's no one else to actually give it to. Should they have probably retired the shirt till it gets to a level where they give it to him? That's also something probably they could have done because we see, for example, Mason Mount giving the number 7 shirt, and it's almost like
Yeah,
that's like almost a waste of because that number is actually iconic. So could they have
yeah.
waited a while for Rasmus at least one season to see how he performs? Then probably give him the shirt. I don't know. But Rasmus will he do well? Most likely, I think he will do well. It looks like a kid that's focused and a kid that basically wants to do well. If you look at Vinicius Junior for Madrid initially,
Yeah.
right, you could see it wasn't when he came in. It
I
wasn't
was
that
crap.
good. It was scrap.
Fisher was crap. He was
It was
crap.
scrap. So you can see
He
right.
was
So
crap.
over time,
No,
he has transformed. That could also happen to Rasmus. So
no,
now, so go ahead, Rex.
no. Tech, come finish up because I wanted to
No,
take
so
a
so
key study there.
so now Rasmus getting the number 9 shirt. I won't really probably pay too much concern to it, because it might actually turn out good, and if it doesn't, we might actually sell it. So
So now going to what you guys taking a key study there in Vinicius, right? When Vinicius came, there was we all knew what Benzema said. It feels
Yeah.
like this guy is working against the team,
yes, yes,
right? And
yes.
if you had spoken to a Madrid fan that time, they would tell you some of them would tell you he would come good. Some of them would say, "Nah, man," you know. So it's a case of how what telescope you're using. It's a case of your lens that you're using, right? Now, last season, fine, the boy came. I think he had what, if not close to 17
15
goal and 15 goal and assists for his first season in the Premier League, right? And we knew supply wasn't there.
was poor.
So supply to him was poor. He basically made out to most of his goals by himself. So giving him the number 9, right? Now we know how some people think. Some people think that the number 9, like a shirt number, can actually put a weight on you or could actually spur
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
on to actually be the best you can, right? I remember when young Ronaldo came, everybody was infuriated with him. Everybody. Man would like he literally had Van Nistelrooy, who know how to keep the offside trap. He literally had Van Nistelrooy offside most
Waiting.
of the time, waiting. So it's a case of we just have to see, we just have to be patient with this guy, right? Last season there was no service. This season we hope there will be service. Let's see. Giving him the number 9, is it the end of the world? Will it make the heavens fall? No. It might just be something that might just spur him on. It might just be that extra boost that might just be like, now you have the number 9. He looks at the catalogs, he looks at the frame, the pictures on the wall. I'm like, oh, great men have worn this number 9 and they've delivered. Now the onus is on me to actually deliver. That might be an extra push, right? Like for some other players, it might just be like a break. They might just break down, like, yo, this shirt is too
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can't, we can coming into the next season, we would actually see what the number would actually do to him. Would the number actually bring him down, or would the number actually take him a notch higher, if you know what I mean. So in my case, I feel the number 9 jersey number, I wouldn't play down on him because they are iconic for a reason. But um, like what Tesh is saying, he's our main striker. I wouldn't say top striker at the moment. He's our main striker, and we've got only him. So you might as well just give him the number 9. And I don't think United are in the business of retiring numbers like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So now looking at the of course outgoing now
Hmm.
because so far incoming have been okay, and they've been talk of Ugarte coming in.
Banks. I
They've been,
wouldn't say incoming have been okay. Banks. It's just 2 incomings, bro. It's
yeah,
just
yeah, it's
No,
something.
no, but
It's
bro,
something.
but look at the Premier League as a whole though. It's been tough though, bro. Drex, it's been
Yeah,
tough.
Chelsea
it's,
have had no.
I'm
Chelsea have had
waiting.
bro. Chelsea have had three or no. Chelsea have had 5 incomings. Five.
Yeah,
Who and who?
Chelsea.
you need to
Okay, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea have had Tosin. Sorry, let me just go.
Yeah,
Chelsea had Tosin. They have
complete.
this striker Magui. They have this
Yeah,
Leicester boy Drewsbury
Junior.
Hall. Yeah,
Mhm.
and they
Yeah,
they also have Omari, the 18-year-old. Then they have this winger from Brazil, from Palmares. Is he Willian?
uh,
So
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's so when you look at that, right? They've put men in positions that they deem priority. I'm not saying what
Mm-hmm.
United have done is not good. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that when people say United have done well in the transfer, I'm like, no,
I think it's
hold up.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. United have been proactive as to what we know before, where they take out their sweetheart's time before they get a deal done. So now they've been proactive. They're trying to make deals as fast as they can. The selling club are the ones actually putting the brakes on, So it's more like, so for me, I just put it as an okay, and we rate the transfer window like what Banks actually said, based on the people that we would let go, not based on people that have actually run down their contract. It's the one that we can actually say, okay, you know what, we are selling you off to get some money and get some more players. So that's the thing I would say about that one.
Now, for you now, how many players do you think Manchester United still need to bring into the club?
Okay, that's a very good question. I would still want them to bring another defender, right? Now, because let me say why. Now, an injury, we have Lenny Euro, we have Martinez, we have Johnny Evans, we have Harry Maguire, and we have Victor
Lindelof
Lindelof, who I have a feeling 70% will
might
be
leave.
sold this year. So imagine those Victor Lindelof doesn't leave, and there's an injury to Martinez and Lenny Euro. Who's the United Tesh? Who's going to be United starting centre back?
No, I agree with you though. We need to bring in
So
one
so
one more
that so
defender.
that
Yeah.
so that in itself scares me. That thought of I'm going to be seeing Maguire again for another season. I'm going to be seeing Lindelof again for another. It's not like Lindelof is a bad, but I'm just saying these are players that we know their limitations. Why enjoy it for another season? If we can move them on, let's move them on and bring people that we know can actually do the job. So I'll get another centre back in, get a midfielder in. We already have Joshua Zexi for the striking position. If something comes up at the end of the day, let's say there's the right back, obviously, and the left back, right? So this is centre back, midfielder, left back, right back. That's 4 players. Those are my, if I was in the board discussing with these guys, those would be my 4 key position. Then if something ends up happening, let's say towards the end of the season, there's an opportunity for a striker or one player that we were thinking, okay, we might not just get, comes up, boom, you go at it. If it's a deal that you can do, you do it. But for me, these 4 positions need to be sorted out real quick.
So just I think someone had in the chat right. It says I think Casemiro needs to be shipped on, and I'm happy with
Yeah,
Ugarte. Right? Yeah. So I think the Casemiro thing, right? No, it's a tough one. Right? It's a tough one. Right? He has had one good season. He has had one bad season. And I know his age is not on his side, but I believe one person, someone cannot just drop off like that, like drop off the cliff. So something probably a change in style actually impacted Casemiro last year. Now, do I think it probably will get us to the highest level? The answer is no. But I think though, in terms of Casemiro, even if it doesn't go, I I believe he can probably still it will do better than last year. I believe
let, let
Casemiro
me
will do better than
let
last
me
year.
let me I'm not playing the devil's advocate, but I'm going to say this in the case of Casemiro, right? Last season was injury hit season for United. We had
yeah,
close to about if not more than 30 combinations in terms of the defense, right? And Casemiro was like a leader, like the shield in shielding the back four or the back two. Now, when there's no consistency, you when there's no consistency test even in our everyday life, right? Then when there's no consistency and when you're trying to achieve something, right, and there's no consistency, you would miss it. So I feel like the injuries we have last season, right, rocked the boat and also have affected Casemiro. If we had this first season, we had a stable back four. The first season Casemiro played for us, I think that was the first season of Eric Ten Hag as well. Bro, we kept the most clean sheet. We only let 9 goals in at Old Trafford, right? So, like Tesh is saying, so people don't just fall off the cliff like that. There must be something. So we have to put all variables on the table and say, okay, why was this a case of, and looking at it, so this season, going into this season, they need to fix up the 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 medical department. We need to injury is part of the game, but if we can limit,
That's done already.
say
I
again.
think that part, I think they've sacked everybody around there. I think that's done
Banks,
already.
Banks, it's one thing to sack another those people, and it's another thing to expect the results for which you're putting things in place. So
True, true.
we just hope that the injury that rocked us last season should stay away. Should have, how in the days of Moses, he said, "Go into your house, put the blood on the lintel, and when the angel of death
Yeah,
came."
yeah.
So
I should put,
I just I just hope
I
that
should put like,
that angel of injury has gone past, right? So it's not coming back
I hope
anytime,
so, I
so
hope
that
so, man.
we
I
can
hope so.
actually see what the new people are, and also the environment last season wasn't so great. We had the prior to that time, so it wasn't the season had so many things that we could actually. It's not an excuse, but if we want to put everything on, I like putting all my cards on the table, like putting all the variables on the table when I'm making an informed decision, right? So if we want to do
Yeah.
that, therefore we have to put everything. There was a takeover saga that spanned even onto it was the Christmas Eve. Well, yes, it was remind me, it was the Christmas Eve that they had to sort that one out.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, it was Christmas Eve. It was
yeah, they
Christmas
took
Eve.
took another 2 months to do their strategic review. Players didn't know what was happening. The club was hit with injury, left. So there was poor run of form. There was so everything happened. What all that could happen last to a club happened last season. Just that we didn't go into administration. So that's for me. I just I would see what Casemiro is made of, but this time around, make sure we because another reason why Casemiro was like that, because when you take Casemiro off, the replacement wasn't so great, if you understand.
Yeah, that's true.
So it
That's
just
true.
it just basically highlights
My ghost.
yeah,
My
it
ghost.
basically highlights the Casemiro's deficiency at that point in time. Because when you're
Yeah.
taking off a player and you're bringing on another player that could actually do the same job and they are doing it, by default, we as fans, we know by default, we don't really put pressure on the player that just left. Oh, this guy has come on. See what Amrabat did in that position when Casemiro didn't play in the FA Cup final. Nobody actually kept
Yeah.
talking about Casemiro flop. No, no. It was okay. Amrabat stepped up. Amrabat stepped up.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
that's that's the thing. So when you have players coming in as substitution and doing their job, right, even better than who started, then you start saying that people talk less about the guy. The deficiencies of the previous guy might not be so because this guy has come to actually put a cover over it, and that's my take though. That's my take.
But if there's one thing Tenak does is this. Tenak is very, very stubborn, man.
Oh yes, oh yes.
This guy called Scott McTominay. I call him Scooby Doo. You know, you see that guy? That guy offers Manchester United nothing. Aside the fact that he can come in and score goals, he offers absolutely nothing.
Very
And
true.
it is surprising that Fulham came with 17 million pounds. They rejected that amount of money. Now, I don't know why they feel is like they think is worth more around 30-35 million pounds. But if I'm being realistic, guys, I don't think there's a club out there that is well run that will look into signing
McTominay.
Scott for 35 million pounds. Because we just saw Fulham signing Emmy Smith Rowe
Switch
for
role.
35 million
35.
pounds. And yet they came for Scooby Doo first, and Man U rejected the deal. I don't know why, for what reason. But let me just read what this guy said there. This guy, Jonathan says, I think Casemiro needs to be shipped on. I do be happy with Ugarte and Amrabat in rotation with Collier making appearances in Carabao and Europa League games. When I watched that match against Rangers, this boy called Collier, he looks good. And this Nigerian guy, is Oguleye?
Yeah, Gunle,
That
yeah.
guy is also solid. I just hope we get to see all this lad in
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 United.
um, uh, in
No,
United. And
if there's one thing that Ten Hag is known for, right, is the fact that he likes to bring players that from the youth setup that he thinks they are ready. Not what the fans think about a certain player from the youth from the academy is not what the manager thinks. We as fans, we could clamor for the best of all these players, right? But if it's the managers that see them, right, week in, week out, we get to see them when they play on TV, right?
And
true,
and and Drake, sorry, but
Mhm.
that's one part of Tenag I actually don't like though. But again, now I'm not a manager. That's what probably
yeah,
thinking is too stubborn on probably on giving certain players like even if when they're doing too well, they keep playing until like okay, you know what, they can get it. So I think that's my only concern. Now, are these players ready? I'm not sure. We've seen it. It's only preseason though. How will they react to what they call a normal season, right? So again, but just to go to your point, I know you mentioned Tenag only
No,
plays
but no,
when they're
no,
ready.
but Tesh, we know that when Ten Hag tells a player that you are in my thoughts, you're in my plan, right? If he tells that player that he's in his plan, that player is actually in his plan. Is you
Yeah,
and I,
true,
the fans, that actually wants to see this player week in, week out. I know Ten Hag. Ten Hag is stubborn. We all agree about that. But
hmm
sometimes
yeah,
you, as the manager, you know your job. You are like I always say this. Even with Southgate, I said it with Southgate when the English fans were not happy with Southgate and all. I said, let the man dig his hole for himself. At the end of the day, he
true,
is the one that is going to fall inside of it. It's like we're already expecting something, right? Now, if it happens, we know, okay, the path that you were walking was going to lead you to this. But you didn't, we were saying change your ways. You didn't want to change your ways. Now it's led you to this. So if Ten Hag wants to be stubborn and he feels like that stubbornness, because it's everybody's attribute. If he says, okay, that's what works for him, let's just sit back and wait and see, because we are saying that he would hit a snag. So let's wait. If he doesn't hit a snag, thanks be to God. If he does, we say, okay, bro, this is something that we've been crying out like you to change, right? But one thing I know for sure is
yeah,
he knows how to get these young guys on. Like he said, if you're good enough, right, you're old enough. That's the next line. If you're good enough, you're old
yeah,
enough. So for me, is Koilia guy, I would like to see him. Ogunleye, I think we saw him last season. He had a cameo last season. Kambwala, he gave Kambwala game time last season, but
yes. So again, that's fine. Yeah.
he gave
yeah,
Kambwala
yeah.
Kambwala, I gave Kambwala some game time, but Kambwala, looking at this season, having gotten guys in that could run the football club, he has actually looked at it and like, you know what, these guys, they are not messing around. It's not like old time where I know I could stick around in case Maguire doesn't get into you know, they had made him know that your game time will be
Hmm.
limited. So the man did what the man could was best for him. Move on. So for me, that in
Yeah,
itself, he gave this guy a cameo last season before he got injured. This midfielder, this young Dan Gore. So if
Yeah.
there's something Ten
yeah,
Hag
no,
knows how to do, right? He knows how to breed this guy, this drip feed these guys into the squad. And if he finds out that they are good enough, bro, they stick around. That was how Garnacho and Kobe Maino. I know a lot of people were talking about Kobe, right? But that's how these people they stuck around and started starting games. And we saw what Kobe did to the England team.
you know one thing about I want again is this, man. I think Ten Hag needs to pass some instruction to Ganacho. Ganacho is somebody I love,
Yes.
but when you look like a player like Lemmy Yamal and Nico Williams, there's something that differentiates them from Ganacho. Ganacho knows the fault I have with Ganacho is that he does not know when to shoot, when to pass, and is basically little by little becoming the new Rashford. And for me, the hype around Rashford is just annoying. Rashford has that potential of becoming something very, very great,
Yeah.
but he did not have a good manager that could actually, you know, groom him, tell him what to do. And this is what I see with Ganacho. He's a raw player. I watch Ahmad, and you ask yourself, how did Ahmad not get enough game time last season?
I think Ahmad,
Whereby
Ahmad
I
is
can
okay.
I can I
Ten
can answer that
Hag
question if you want me to.
kept forcing Rashford, Anthony, and Garnacho into our throat and decided not to do. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't want to
Banks,
see this.
Banks. If you look
But
at it, right,
Ahmad was injured for a bit though.
Ahmad was injured for a lengthy
I know.
spell, like,
Yeah.
and Ahmad came towards the end of the year, I think December, right? And
Mhm.
Cote
Yeah,
d'Ivoire, I think they were tipping him to go represent Cote d'Ivoire for the African Cup of Nations, and he said no,
you did not
right?
know.
So, but
Yeah,
the manager was like, during my plans, the manager gave when he came back, the minute Ahmad was deemed fit by passed fit by the medical team, he got his first game. What happened? He took Hill. 2 weeks gone. So the manager then what happened? We came to the business end of the season where every point counted. So the manager was like, you know what? I think he was prioritizing. It was which on the one hand, one could say, okay, it's maybe he was prioritizing the win, prioritizing
Over.
position over like trusting his guns that have been there because sometimes
yeah, true,
being
true.
available is also an attribute. Your
Mm-hmm.
availability is also an attribute. So if
Bruno
you're the type that
Fernandez.
does if you're the type that's always injury prone, it the manager wants to take their time with you. Wants to make sure that you get your fitness bit by bit. As for the Rashford incident and the Ganasha one that you just talked about, I feel like the fact that Rashford could do certain things and get away with it, right, has creeped into some of these players, right?
Yes.
Which, in
Yes.
my opinion, it was allowed by the previous regime. So with this new regime, I want to be able to
True,
see
true.
I want to be able to see players that are not performing week in week out be benched and giving other people chance.
Yeah,
Because last season we know for sure there
true.
was there was there was an hierarchy in the with the there was somebody a personnel in the hierarchy of the club that would not even allow Rashford to sit on the bench.
I think
Rashford
it's more.
cannot sit on the
That's
bench.
true.
It's more because the club is run. I think it's more so as a both. It's focused more on commercial and less on the
Mm-hmm.
footballing, right? So I'm believing with the introduction of a new leadership team, we focus more on the football side. And like you mentioned, too, even to Ganacho, I was going to talk about Ganacho. One being like Rashford. Another key thing I say with Ganacho, probably again, yeah, one can correct me. I don't think he has control of the ball when he runs. He almost loses that control as he's running with the ball. So I think he will need lots of what they call instructions from what they call the
Yeah,
management. I think it, the hype is good, but I think he needs to what they call come down to what. Let me improve my game and leave the hype. Let what they call let my improvement in my game drive the hype. Right. So hopefully Ten Hag can actually help him develop. We've seen the development of Kobe. Hopefully, that can translate to Ganacho as well.
It's a case of it's a case
exactly.
of a young kid. I see him in 18. He would learn. He would learn. Like no Ronaldo didn't hit it like that. Vinicius Junior didn't hit it
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
true.
So it's just a case. I know the points that we are raising is a valid one. It has to drop some of those because it's those negatives we can see it, right? So he has to drop some of those negatives to be a better player. So that's where the leadership in the team, not just the manager, leadership in the
In
team
the team, yeah,
and the people he surrounds with himself as well. Because you could be a great player, but if you surround yourself with people that just want to be fanning your ego when even when things are going bad, at the end, bro, you're
you're
almost
dead.
likely
You're dead.
yeah,
Yes, you're
yeah,
dead.
yeah, yeah, sleep man walking. I don't want to use the
Yes,
word dead man walking. Yeah, sleep
yeah,
man walking.
because it's like no one is telling you the truth.
No one is telling you the truth, bro.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's the
wants.
best. So, what do you have to say about because we've seen Sancho being linked to PSG because
Mhm.
at first I looked at it, I said there might be truth in it, and yet again I said I think this is just PR, man, because I don't think Ten Hag and Sancho resolved the issue for him to start for them to start talking about sending him off to PSG. But I don't know. What's your take on it? What do you guys think on that?
So on Sancho, I think it was a very brilliant move by management, and
Okay.
the way how actually they settled the friction between Ten Hag and what they call it and
Yeah.
Sancho on a media on what they call to the media and the fans. Everyone is fine. I think what they did is basically to get Sancho give increase his value again, because for example the
Yeah. That's,
perception of other clubs is that if Sancho and what they call Manchester United are not in good terms, that present then I'm actually almost doing you a favor if I'm buying him from you. But now, right,
yeah.
having that what they call making sure everyone is on the same page, right? Automatically now, okay, we need him, right? If you want to buy him, you have to probably increase your value. I think in terms Sancho actually would love to go. I think probably would love to actually start from a new chapter. Someone else. United also, again, if they get 40 million pounds, they will actually let Sancho go. Right? Just to at least because you want to create that what they call it, while they've settled, also want to make a team understand that there are certain behaviors are not actually accepted. While we can actually make things look good on the media right and front or on the fans front, internally right, we have to lay out standards for ourselves, right? So I think Sancho might stay though, might still stay, and I think they might walk through it right because I know what's his name, Sir David Bradford talked about what they call. They asked him a question: How do you deal with players that are good but then have attitude, what they call problem. I think he mentioned that you have to find a balance, a way of making that work. I think if they can sell him, they'll look for a way of making a Sancho work. And I think Tenag is also open-minded in terms of if he doesn't go. I think the pressure and the stress more lies on Sancho because then you have to what they call be of good behavior. You have to come to what they call training on time because then everyone is watching you. Now, if you're sitting on the bench, you cannot really frown and get angry because then the media and spotlight is on you, right? So you have to what they call almost be like on your best behavior, right? And also do your best on the pitch because if you probably perform poorly, likely the coach takes you out. You can't even frown. So I think it would be on Sancho's interest for him to go to a new club
Yeah.
opposed to him staying.
I have a different view to
And
that.
going to that.
I have a,
Okay.
I
Let's hear
have
it.
my view is of the wingers we have right now available to United. Who's the best one in terms of creativity? Is Sancho, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be of everybody's in everybody's best interest for all parties to be on the same level in terms of chemistry, in terms of where we had at work ethics and all of that. So now they would have, I believe they would have come together and they would have aligned and say, okay, this is the reason why the manager said what he said in the press conference, right? And this is the reason why you went off the way you went off. And they would have gotten to the, because I don't just think it's what the manager said at press conference. There's a route to that. They would have gotten to that route and dealt with it. That's what I want to believe, right? At that point, then it's not like, okay, I, Sancho, speaking to Tenag and say, okay, sir, will I be getting game times on account of merit in terms of performance
Yeah.
wise?
Hmm.
Because if colleagues here that they don't perform are getting picked week in week out, then if it makes me feel like okay, there's no point putting in the performance or the shift when someone else is going to be picked over me, even when they give 4 or 3/10, whilst I give you an 8, right? So I think going into this
Yeah.
season, the error that we have always had where if you don't perform, you still play shouldn't be. If
Yeah.
that's the case,
True.
then I would say Sanchez should leave. But if they actually are going to kick that out where it's based on performance, and which is what I like at the point I like it about Ten Hag, because even from Ajax time, you could see that he's one manager that is based on performance. Give him his performance, you would start the game, right? So for that being said, Sancho, I still want to see Sancho work at United. If at the end of the day, they all parties feels like it's best to move him on, so be it. But for me, if he stays, I feel like he would have a point to prove. Don't forget that that Gary Southgate is no more the England coach.
Manager.
World Cup manager. World Cup is in 2 years' time. Premier League, it's
True.
where the spotlight is on the Premier League. So I think it's in the interest of someone like Sancho to actually stay do well, right? Put his name in the lips of most almost everybody in the league, that they will say, okay, this guy has to be a starting right winger or left wing, wherever the case may be for the English national team, because the World Cup is a big stage. That's why I feel sad that the likes of Harry Maguire are looking like, oh, I want to just sit around, bro. Like, no, even one Basaka that is saying he wants to go
Inter
to Inter
Milan.
Milan, right? I'm like, okay, this is ambitious for him, because I'm thinking World Cup is coming in 2 years' time. Are you trying to put yourself in a position where you cannot be ignored when it comes about team selection? So that's so for me, I feel like Sancho will be thinking all of that too. So wherever Sancho wants to go, I think one, he will be thinking, okay, would there be a lot of visibility from my England media? I don't want to go somewhere where if I go, they'll be like, "Oh, it's that league. It's that league, you know. There's really nothing happening there, you know." Like, see the likes of Timori. Timori went to Syria A.
AC Milan.
Yeah, and a lot of people were actually saying he was good last season, but he didn't get called up because of. I still feel it's because of visibility. Although Southgate likes has his preference, but I still feel like visibility is one thing that hinder that guy. Because if
So
the just go ahead.
no, no, as in, but you're saying that they are changing the coach though. The coach coming in probably won't that change? Won't the coach might have a different? The new coach might have
Yeah,
a different
the new coach might have,
perspective.
but we're talking about visibility, bro. Like you and me. And once the Premier League is done, I switch over to Italian league because I have this there's a subscription I paid for where they give me Italian league, they give me France league, right? So once the EPL is done, there's always something for me. So I'm always watching a game or two from either of these leagues, right? But I'm saying how many English persons actually sit down on a Saturday and say, okay, they want to watch the English league, or so
Serie
it's
A.
yeah, or
La
serious.
Liga.
No, so
So for me, Tess, I'm just saying he could go and see. Don't get me wrong. If Sancho leaves and for a good fee, the price is right, everybody shakes hand, best for everybody. But if he stays,
Yeah.
I still feel like if they made the environment like what Teshko is saying, if they put their foot down on certain attitude and what's not, then yeah, if they set the line and say, okay, whoever goes above it gets cut off, right? Be you Marcus Rashford or be you the last person that just came in, if they're strict like that, then everybody will fall in line.
yeah, for me though,
That's true.
I love Sancho. Probably I like Jerry Jackson is probably one of my favorite player. So I just think that if the environment is conducive for him to actually progress his career, then for sure I think I would love Sancho. What they call it, to
So
stay.
now, what do you have to say about this Harry Maguire said? Because
What
I
is
don't
it?
understand how you have a
Okay.
player like Harry Maguire that
Before we go to Harry
instead of
Maguire,
playing.
before we go to Harry Maguire, let's just read what Jonathan said. Jonathan Petrovic
Okay,
said,
yeah.
Adrian Rabiot is
Okay, okay,
getting
okay.
closer to Yeah, Robert is getting closer to joining MUFC, prefers United over Liverpool, and his entourage is in talk with both clubs. That would be, in my opinion, just speaking of before we go to Maguire, that would be another fine addition for United. That would be another fine addition for
Okay.
United. But for me, that would be another fine addition for United. So I think he would
So
work
you
well.
actually rate him.
I rate Rabiot. Oh, I rate Rabiot. But
Wow.
the fact, see, because I rate Rabiot, I wouldn't take Rabiot last year because we had people that
Okay.
don't know what they were doing in terms of the structure. Now that we have structure, right? I know I can go to bed with one and a half eye closed and say, okay, these guys they won't just do stupid. Are they bound to make errors? Yes, but I know that this time
Yeah.
around, the errors that they will make won't be like what the likes of Woodward, Arnold, and Moto have been making in the past. Because they would have last year if Rabbi was to come, they would have given Rabbi one stupid wage that by now we will be saying God have mercy.
But not though. They actually declined because of wages last year.
And so
Yeah, they,
going back now means that Rabio knows that it's not business as usual. These guys that are
Yeah.
even coming in will be more strict than the ones that just left. So
yeah. Now look at what this guy said there. He says Ten Hag is going to ruin everything. This guy is absolutely doing.
is that Evans? Was that Evans
No,
or
it's
Andra?
Andre.
Andra, see,
Yeah.
the thing is, I know you're looking at him and say, okay, this guy's doing the best. Let's just Andrea, I would implore you, more like beg you to just chill this season, right? Last season is gone with the old regime. Now we have a new structure. We've not.
So,
This is what we've been crying out for the last 10 years, 13 years. We've been crying out for something like this
yeah,
since let me just say since Ferguson and David Gill retired. Right? We've been crying for something to be put in place to fix up but they know one man was doing everybody's role, and that's not
That's
possible. So
yes.
now I just say, Andrew, I know you have your own doubt about the manager, but just chill, bro. Let the season start because Ten Hag has this thing in his contract where nothing can happen until the end of the season. So if everything is even going bad, even let's say by December, it's
They
still
can sack him.
they can't sack him to the end of the
Wow,
season.
wow.
So
wow.
he has a one full year allowance to do his thing. So come the end of the season, they can review and decide to say, you know what, terminate. Because what they just did, they just triggered his he had 1 year left. They just used the extension that they had to make it two, right? So and these guys were smart. So kudos to them. Whilst I didn't want Ten
Yeah.
Hag to be sacked, these guys came up with a smart answer to the old question. And
To everyone, like that suited every single body.
every party, the
Yes.
outers, the inners, everybody. So Ten Hag has to do the right thing or he's sacked.
And
I hope
this is
so. He
what
will line up.
Evans has to say.
No, yeah,
Evans, he said,
Evans is spot on. He has to do the right thing because I was a staunch Ten Hag supporter last season. Not because I'm a manager AFC or no. It was because I know the problem of the football club. Changing the manager
okay.
without fixing the foundation is just like putting plasters over the wall when you haven't fixed the crack, right? So it's like putting a wallpaper over a big crack. So anybody comes, say, "Oh, your wallpaper is fine," but behind that wallpaper, bro, there's a big hole that could fit my head in it. So
Mhm.
it's just so that's why I was like, you know what? Let us now we have Sir Jim that was walking in through the door. Let us, it was one time it was Qatar, and we are hoping if Qatar comes, get rid of the deadwood, pay our debt, everybody, will lounge, get new structure. And Sir Jim did the same too. So I just employ everybody to just calm down. Let's look at Ten Hag now because first season he did well, second season not so well. So that's 1-1, right? That's a draw now. So let's now go into the third season and see best of three. Let's see where it will be at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah. No,
But what,
I agree with. So go ahead.
no, we'll go on, Tesh.
No, no. I just want to say I agree with Rex. There is having what they called having patience and trying it out, right? So Ten Hag hasn't worked properly on a good structure, and neither has
Yeah.
the previous managers. So giving him is 1 year basically to work on the proper structure and see the outcome of that. I think is key, right, to understand if he's actually the right person or not. One thing we'll have to look at, right? Ten Hag prior to this, right, worked on a similar structure we have now, and he flourished. So it's possible he might actually flourish again in this. And like I always say, someone can go from being smart to dumb all of a sudden,
yeah,
right? So Ten Hag
That's
did
true.
was doing good at what they call IS. So at least let's give him 1 year and see what he does.
Now, one thing I want to talk about is Luke Shaw because one thing is this, Luke Shaw looked very, very nice when he came for play for England. Now, I've seen Manchester United fan base, so many of them, whenever they put them up their first 11, Luke Shaw is always there. Luke Shaw, when,
but bro, you're not the only one that gets infuriated with that. I get infuriated with it as well. I
and
get
he's
infuriated.
not reliable. He's not reliable. Honestly, he's
Remember,
not
I said
reliable.
availability is also a good trait. You
Yeah,
have to be available, right?
yeah.
Because if you're not available, you just mess up the manager's plan. So for me, that look short thing, it's a discussion for another day. It's a whole discussion. Let's look at Maguire. What did
Now,
Maguire say? Mhm.
going to what Maguire said here, this guy does not show that he has the ambition to play to lead this club. Now, this is what he says. He says, I have 1 year left on my contract with an option, but if they come to me and say they don't want me anymore, of course, I will look for options as well. But that's not, that's never been told to me. Focus on winning trophies here. He was saying it to Sky Sports.
That's what.
And it doesn't make sense to me. You have a kid in Kwambala decided to leave the club because he wants game time. And yet you have Harry Maguire here coming up with excuses because one thing he is doing now is like the same thing he did last season. But it's like you pray for people to get injured so you get game time.
Oh, well, guess
What is
what?
that?
That prayer will not be answered because that prayer, some of us are actually on our knees praying that the angel of injury should have gone.
Yeah, there's Lenny Euro.
Mm.
There is Lisandro Martinez.
There's
There's
possibly a new centre back coming in, Delete or
yeah,
Brantwaite
probably
or something.
Jared Brightway or Delete.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
One of them. Kenny Evans is there, and based on last season performance, Evans was better than this guy.
mm-hmm,
And they've been talking about Manchester United have been linked to Chaloba from
mm-hmm,
Chelsea.
mm-hmm.
And for me, this guy needs to go so that they can bring in more players. But to have a player like Harry Maguire, like you said, World Cup is just here. He wants to fight for a shirt. Which shirt are you fighting for?
Let
Because
me
you
let
ain't
me
doing
so
enough.
you mentioned Willie Kambwala, right, and Maguire.
Yeah.
The difference between both people here, right, is Maguire has a good contract. So for
Mm-hmm.
him, that contract is the reason. If Maguire was probably being paid like 60 or 70K, he's off. He's off.
Yeah, it's off.
The only reason he's staying is because what called he has a good contract and he can't get that anywhere. So he's trying to say, okay, can I just at least struggle
You
and even
know,
this year, let me see and see if I can get even an extra year safe.
No, no
So I can
extra here. The guy will leave for free. No, no extra. If he doesn't leave this, see, truth be told, if he doesn't leave this season, it will. They will not see no trigger. Arne Slot is actually looking to move this guy on. There's
yes,
this
yes,
guy
yes.
is expecting somebody to
honestly,
come. This guy is expecting somebody to come with a placard and say, "Oh, Maguire, we don't want you," or someone to call him into the office and be like, "Oh, Maguire, you know what? We don't." No, bro. Read the writings on the wall, bro. We
Take
are
the
get.
hint.
We are getting. We've gone. We went. Lenny Euro. We battled Madrid. We went into Madrid wanted him. We said okay. We went over the odds. People could say that went over the odds, and we because we know Madrid is successful for the in the last
yeah.
years, in the last couple of years, if not 5, 6 years, right? They've been successful. Trophy is guaranteed if you go to Madrid. There is a trophy, not just a not a milli cup, not a bombit. There is a big trophy guaranteed. If Madrid don't win the Champions League this season, it's
They'll
for
win the
sure that
league.
win the next season. They'll win
Yes.
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
So trophy
true.
is guaranteed. But we went toe to toe with Real Madrid, right? With all of that in their arsenal, we got Lenny Euro, right? You Maguire, you're still
Yeah,
waiting for somebody to come and tell you that they should come and tell you, oh, we don't want you. We're going for
true.
Delete. They should come and tell you that
No,
we don't want you. We're going for Brantwaite, who has told Everton to match up, to meet up the 160 that United offered him, or else he will not sign an extension if that report is to be believed. We're going for that same guy. No, but yet you want somebody to call you on the
exactly.
phone
I tell you.
and tell you that we don't want you bro, your contract is going to run out. The way they're looking at it now, it's like they've actually looked at the likes of Maguire and a few others. I'm like, you know what, we can actually still take on this wages for another 1 year. They can go for
Yeah.
another 1 year. I think they've come to that realization that they can actually still do it for another 1 year and they can go.
Mhm.
Because you can't tell me that the World Cup is coming up in 2 years time. um
Sorry.
Yes,
Go on.
Andrak. No, I'm just reading what Andrak is saying right there. And Andrak, you're spot on, bro. You're spot on. We have by doing this, right? We've just made So for me, I'm looking at they can actually look at Maguire and be like, you know what, we could actually leave this guy for another 1 year. But that evil thought of they will extend your contract.
What you wrote it there, right? You say I still have 1 year. No one has told me they don't need me. So is he thinking, you know
Yeah,
what? They can come
like
and say,
it's
ah,
crazy. I don't understand. Go and play football somewhere else. Go and play football somewhere else. Leave the club. Like you are becoming a body to this club. They can't tell you go. No one will tell
yes.
you go. You need to use your initiative. Because Lindelof have been getting links. Just that United valued him, I think, around 15 million. And
Yeah.
whatever they've been offering, Fenerbahce offered 8 million. And United wants more for Lindelof. Lindelof wants to leave.
Bro,
If a
Lindelof will
deal
leave.
is
Lindelof will leave
he wants
for
to leave. But Harry Maguire wants to fight for shit. I don't know what shit he's fighting for. For me,
no, because the case of
no.
Lindelof, right? The case of Lindelof, I think the club is actually trying to put a delay to see how much more they could get. It's not like somebody come
Yeah, that's
knocking
what
on
I'm
your door.
saying.
Yeah.
They
So,
want more money
but for
for him.
Maguire's staying is not it's the fact that he's even thinking that they will trigger the extra 1 year he has, right?
Like,
Because
it's mad.
that I would tell Maguire right now, bro. I love I'm one of those fans. Tesh knows. Tesh, we know we rate Maguire in terms of his professionalism. Maguire is a
Yeah.
top professional, right? With all the slide, with all the whip, with all whatever he got through that 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago, man still
Mhm.
stayed professional, did his job. Maguire is a top professional. That should not be taken away from him. But his ability in terms of where we want to go as a football club, in terms of how we want to play, is not what we need. So Maguire and himself should have read the room and asked his agent to move for him. But like what Tessan actually said, nailed on, spot on. The fact that he's on a very lucrative contract, right? That he knows he can't get anywhere. The thing is, if anybody wants to come buy Maguire now, United would have to sit down and think of, okay, how do we
Be
now
part
put
of it.
Maguire's contract even in that price tag so that we could get him. So all of that, right? So the United are actually looking like, okay, if they come for him, we would sell. But if nobody comes for him, we can actually leave him for another 1 year and see run. I do I expect Maguire to stay? I have it 55% that he would stay, and I won't be bothered about it, right? Because last
Sure.
season he came on, he did his own, right? He held his
Yeah,
own. But if we want to
yeah,
be
yeah.
challenging for the league, we know definitely, bro, it's not a Maguire we need.
Now, what I want to ask again is this, because this guy here, David Moyes is saying Ugarte is awful. Him and Bruno, hot potato bomb football. They will cry. We can't string
Okay, then
five
we'll cry. We
past.
can't sing. David Moyes.
Yeah, I've not seen enough of Ugarte. I will
Me
be
too.
honest to you.
Me too. I've
I've
not.
not
Yeah.
seen enough of
Okay,
him. So I
I
cannot
me that
say
I've seen
yeah
enough
or
of
no.
Ogate, right? I would tell David Moyes.
Okay.
David Moyes, you are the one of the manager at United time, right? That I have still never forgiven. Tesh knows, but I will still find the time to forgive you one of these days, so my prayers will be answered. But the truth is, the truth is,
Yeah.
Ugarte is not. It's not awful, right? Ugarte
Okay.
is not awful. Ugarte will do a fine job, right? Just like Ugarte, I'm not going to put Ugarte and Casemiro in the same bracket, right? But
Okay.
Ugarte is almost close like that, right? Where he's still got his young, 24 years, 24, 25, could still improve on his game, right? Can still fit into, can still be malleable and molded into what the manager wants for a player. As to someone that's already 28, you can't teach old guns new trick, right? So for me, Ugarte can shield the defense, right? In terms of hot potato football, I know what you mean, bro. I understand. But Ugarte is not one that you'll be looking to spread the ball and all of that. Ugarte is one that would
Mhm.
win the ball, collect the ball, give to the eight, pass, move and go, shield the back four, right? It's not really more like a destroyer, if you want. Let me put that word. Let me use that word. More like Ugarte is more like a destroyer. So if you're playing Ugarte, um, then you would have there's a Kobe Maino there, right? Then if you're going to be playing, that's why they're looking for fullbacks that can actually play the way we want to play, like coming in to more like an inverted fullback to choke the
Yeah,
midfield, give
yeah,
more
yeah.
bodies in the midfield and all of that. But Ugarte is a destroyer, right? Also, even this Richard Rios guy, now if
Gosh, that is what I would have loved to then to bring Richard Rios. That guy is man.
But
I watched
Palmer,
that guy is a
no, but Palmer, they're not looking to sell because they just sold a handful. They made over 200 in sales. So anything
sure.
that if you want to come for that guy, you should be your bread should have been done like, and
Okay.
you have egg inside, you have milk inside. The bread should be tasting good, bro. Not those dry bread So for me, Ugarte won't be. It's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout for what
So
he
this
can get.
guy, Mazuri, you rate Mazuri because I watched him play against Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Watched him play against Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
He's a left back. He's a right back, but can play as a left back.
Mm-hmm.
Mazuri. And there were talks that he was going to West Ham, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that deal broke down. So
Let me.
now, Man
I have a funny theory about this Mazuri to West Ham deal coming up. Tess, you want to go ahead, fella? Let me
No,
finish
go
up.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My theory is this: United went to Bayern, and we heard that Mazuri is on for sale. Oh, Bayern like, yeah, it's for sale. We need like 30 m's or 25 m's to get. Okay,
Mm.
you know what?
That's where
No
Rex is
problem.
going.
No problem. We'll see. So, but I heard that West Ham is actually agreeing with him. Yeah, West Ham. So when he got to West Ham, Bayern could do a quick deal, like, yo, we agree with 15 m's plus, then.
yeah.
So if it was United, you're going to be putting your foot on the floor for 30 m's. 25 m's thereabout. They negotiate because I heard we're looking to offer 17. They were not even budging. But it got to West Ham, you entertained 15. So I'm like, okay, if that's the case, we already have the price in our head. We already have the
Mhm.
price in our head. Guys, I think I will have to go off camera now. Uh my yeah, we already have the price in our head, right? So let's go in and talk to Bayern. And if they decide to do any foolishness, right? That's my theory though. We'll just walk away.
Yeah.
But I think Mazuri for a right back as a backup option it won't be a bad choice. But I'm just concerned about his injury record. That's all I am concerned about.
Now, I think I'll echo what Drex is saying there in terms of the strategy United actually is that they are employing here. It's more so, and that's one thing I don't understand. And probably you might, Banks, is why is it that whenever it's United, people increase the price? Like I am,
No, no,
I
one
don't
thing
get
is
it.
that they're forgetting that the Manchester United, the board right now, is not the same board whereby you can get them, you can read them off. That's
Yeah,
what they're forgetting. They still believe it's the same board whereby you have, is he Richard
Motor, Richard
Motor.
Arnold,
So they
yeah,
still believe in those. Yet those has changed. These are people that knows ball. You know, you don't have people like Sergeant Rackway. You have Inos as well. You have John Black. These are
yeah,
ballers and that knows everything about football. So you cannot read these guys off. You know, I know people think it's the same thing over. They think they will, on a norm. If it was Richard Arnold that was here,
yeah,
Gerard
stayed.
Brightway would be in already. They would have paid that
Yes,
70 million to Everton already.
yes,
They would have paid it already. But these
yeah,
people are working like they are showing that we are not going to get ripped off by anybody. And that's what they are doing. Now, this is just a breaking news coming from Plattenberg. And it says here, because I thought West Ham are doing a deal, but it broke down. But
yeah.
now, coming from Plattenberg, it says here, West Ham are now focused on a deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. New talks are planned for the next 48 hours, and Manchester United have lowered their asking price around 10 to 15 million. And
Honestly,
I said it at first that this is what he will go for, you know,
around this range. But to me, honestly, I like we sell very low though, and I don't know as in we sell very low. We sell too
because you pay
low.
too much. You pay too much. You guys pay too
Test,
much money.
test. The
Yeah,
reason why we sell low is because of their wages. Imagine one Bissaka was on a let's say Scott McTominay wage, which is like 70 m's or 80 m's, right? Every Premier League club can afford to pay him. Can say okay, they could pay him that 80 or even 75. That way, you can actually still sell one Bissaka for like 20. But
yeah.
when a player is earning, I think the Wan-Bissaka is top three earners for right back in the league. When a player is
Yo,
on, yeah, when a player is on top dollars like that, right? If you want to sell, you have to factor in that okay, this guy is going to some a club that might not be able to pay him his wages. So let's make a deal suitable for him where we can actually still sell him and make something of him. Don't forget, Wan-Bissaka leaves for free next season. He
That's
walks
true.
out
That's
the
true.
door for free next season. So 10 m's, 15 m's, it's in my opinion, it's not great. But when you factor in every other variables like I've just done, right, in terms of his wages and the fact that he's leaving for free next year, his contract runs out next year, then bro, you'd have to take something that and so that you don't just look like a prat in the market.
Okay. Good.
and you guys are cooking, man. Man, you are cooking, guys. Like you guys are cooking. Like already, like just look at it. Just he is coming in just 4 minutes in. You know, the away jersey, like the away jersey have already reached a record level and are up more than 60%.
Compared to last year.
60 to compare to last year.
Wow.
And it makes sense. 60%.
Percent.
Ay, ay, ay. And
Test,
some of
test,
them,
test.
tell you
Remember,
that.
we used to say this, Test. Remember, we used
Mm.
to say this that if the Glazers knew what they were doing, right, they would be making
And
money.
they'll be making money. So if they knew, because
If they knew
imagine
what
you
they were doing, they would be
if you're
making money,
doing
bro.
if the pitch is good, right? And now you because you already have the branding, and the branding is basically you don't have to do it. Now it's almost the Twitter influencers that help you now do your branding for free, right?
But jersey
YouTubers
is
help you
sick,
do
man.
your branding.
This jersey is sick. This blue color is very, very is sick. To compare to Chelsea, Chelsea's own looks like you know those luxurious bus in Nigeria, Africa, Brazil. Those chairs and the seats. That's like that's how it looks like. I'm sorry, Chelsea fans. Honestly, but that's how it looks like. But this one looks sick. I don't think I've seen a blue this beautiful. Like aside the one they were wearing, was it when they were wearing sponsored by AIG,
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
for
yeah,
Cristiano
yeah,
Ronaldo.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Yeah,
one
he was
was
decent.
beautiful.
Yes,
This one is crazy. But making profit of
60.
60%
A-
already.
And again, why won't you have to go and buy a player that will increase the price when they see what you're making?
Man
That,
City
yeah.
set already. And I
Imagine
believe it.
no, imagine let's who's the who was the fans' favorite this season for us to get? I think there was like I know a lot of people want to delete. I think there was a player that we all was it Jao Neves that a lot of people were hoping to get, right? Imagine you get
Yeah.
yeah, imagine you get a marquee signing, right?
Mm.
Forget about it. United have that's why most United fans are actually upset at the fact that we are not doing well because we have the fan base.
That's
We
the thing
have
now. I
so
say it.
if you
I always say it.
when they I think it was last towards the end of last season and they brought the top rankings of club. United were six in terms of what United was 6.2 billion if I'm not mistaken, and Real Madrid was about 6 billion. So United are the top most valuable club, right? And this is a club that has not been successful in the past. In the past, yeah. So imagine they have been successful. I don't think Real Madrid will be looking. The anytime Real Madrid go for a player and we just knock on the door, they'll be like, "These guys have come again."
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah, yeah,
honestly,
true.
I think that's where probably most journalists right in England, right, that probably weren't United fans, and that's why most even rival fans didn't want the Qatar to take over United because imagine right, imagine that what they called the money probably how they will settle United, pay the debt, get them back to normal, right, and
Yo, those guys are going to do a good job on you guys, man.
they're going to
Honestly.
do a fantastic job. It's like it's almost like you won't be able to catch United again, right? If they do it well, though. Yeah.
So now, let me just ask you guys. I know you guys don't know anything about Chelsea. Yeah, you're not a Chelsea fan. But the truth is that the treatment they've given to Chaloba, is disgraceful. Like I was so pissed at the way they've handled um, that issue. Because for me, I believe at Chelsea, you could easily say he's one of the best Chelsea centre back. I think he's better than Disasi. I think he's
Mhm.
better than Fofana. I think he's better than Badishiu. But I don't understand, man. And
Yeah.
this is also going to bring it is bringing me to the question I want to ask: Who is going to finish top four between Chelsea and Man U? Because you will expect Liverpool; they still have the same players as club. So I don't know anything can happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to get you guys perspective on things. Like, who do you guys think will get into the top four come end of the season between Chelsea and Man U? And also use that opportunity to also, address this thing I'm talking about. What do you guys think about the way they've handled that issue of Trevor Chalobah?
Let me look at it right. So it's again from a employee or human perspective, right? It's not it's tough, right? It's hard, but it's hard, right? But if you're now, could they have gone and also they sell him again through what they called at the while it was in preseason, or do they feel it's better you stay behind to avoid injuries, so at least you pass it most likely sell you. I think Chelsea didn't do themselves what they called a they did themselves a disfavor, a what they called disservice by putting him saying stay behind. Because then almost everyone look at that value, his value drops because everyone's like, okay, when I want to, so probably we can actually now price it right.
Yeah, yeah,
But if you look at it again from a different angle, though, it's ruthless, and that's what they call that's what thorough professionals do. They make a decision and
yeah,
say, you know what, I don't want this, I don't want this, I move this, I move this, and that's what businessmen do. They take emotions out of it and they make a
yeah,
decision. So I think that's what they've done, right? But I think they also didn't help themselves right in the pricing because then everyone can probably bargain on a reduced price. Now, Trevor will feel probably had them done by because probably it was okay last season, but again, it's also again a propeller for himself to say, you know what, you don't want me, I'll go somewhere else and actually work harder and do better. So it's not the best situation for Trevor, but again, for what they call for the club, they probably made what they call a decision whereby let's take out the emotions out of it. And that's it. Now, who will finish top four, Chelsea or United? I'll certainly go for United finishing above Chelsea for sure. Top four. This is.
always. You always go for that. Grace, what do you think?
You're on mute, there.
For the Chalaba thing, for the Trevor's thing, right? It's like what Tess said. It's a case of they being ruthless, right? Now, would they have done it a little bit better where they can still also protect their
Value.
own the value, right? But I think they've come to a position where they say, you know what, we're going to be ruthless and there are consequences to this action that we're taking now. If we're being ruthless, leaving him at home, we know for sure that people will come snoop around for a low ball offer. And what are we okay to say 10 million or 15 million, or are we okay to take anything that comes in that range? Yes, we are. Then let's make the decision and let's stand by it, right? It would be crazy for them to put the man on the back burner and demand something like 30 m's. It would be super crazy. So for me, it's a case of being ruthless. Now I know how the player would feel bad. It's like that, but you'd have to take it up, lift your head up, and be like, you know what, get your agent, get your people walking, and get you a move, right? A move that a good move might not be a great move, not the likes of the Arsenals, the United, or the Liverpool, right? If those come, fine. You could go to a Fulham, you could go to a Crystal Palace, right? You could actually even leave the league in itself, or at least say left the league. You could actually go to a place where your footballing time, because as a player, right, it's your game time matters more. Your game time and your welfare package. Those are the two things that matter most. Because when your agent is having a discussion with a club, he's talking about, okay, what's my player's role? What's the package like? Those are the two things. Okay, you're going to be a crucial player. Oh, that's fine. Now they don't even talk about the years. The crucial. What's my player's role? Is he a squad player? Is he an important player? Is he one of those players that would be his name will be on the list week in, week out? Once that is sorted out, okay, what's the package like? Now that now depends. Okay, if my player is going to be a crucial player, therefore means he should be having a good package in terms of his welfare. So those are the things they look at. So for me, Chalobah should, if it's already the inevitable has happened, make what's best of it, move to another club, get your career back on track. You're a fine player. I rate Chalaba
I
over
would say she
Disasi. I rate
Syria. I would say
Chalaba.
she goes to Syria.
I wait.
I would say she
I
goes to Syria.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
If
she
yeah,
goes to
if you
Syria.
yeah, if you could go to see, I rate the guy is better than Disasi. I don't. I see.
Honestly,
I see
honestly.
Disasi as a Maguire in disguise, bro. In terms of not personality now, in terms of performance wise, in
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
so now with Maresca coming in, and we know that Maresca likes to play a proactive kind of football, we'll get to see what this defender, because last season I really didn't see the Disasi that everybody with the hype was all about Disasi, right? So that's why it's
I
based off last season. So by going into this new season where Maresca likes the kind of football we know Maresca would want to play, let's see if the Disasis would actually play along. But for me, Chalaba should just go. Now, finishing top four, who's going to finish top four? I like to leave my bias when it comes to things like I like to drop my bias off and look at both sides holistically and say, at the moment, Chelsea have made fine signings. They've made good signings, right? But don't forget, they still have players from previous regime that this manager didn't buy. So
yeah.
there has to be a gel there. There has to be a chemistry. There have to be a work in progress. As to Ten Hag, who in his first season came third, finished eighth last season, but won the FA Cup. Right, he already knows his deficiency, and they're already trying to address it. So it's a bit of a rock and a hard place for me. But now I will have to wear back my bias and say United. I feel like United will finish ahead of. I would tip United to finish ahead of Chelsea, knowing fully well that these guys they could do it.
I do agree. I do agree because Ten Hag is already into the league already. It is his third season.
Mhm.
Maresca is just coming from whatever. So that would be it. And just think, guys, I said you guys are cooking. It's not just like I'm just saying it. United now are looking to get in someone, and this makes perfect sense. Because if there's one
Oh
thing
yeah,
Manchester United have been
the
scoring,
set
have
piece
been
coach.
finding it difficult to do, is scoring set piece. They find it very, very, very difficult to do, and I don't understand why.
It's the
And
guy we
United have
employed
always
before. It's the guy we employed, the set piece coach we employed before. I said it right. Okay, you are not following. Last season it was Tesh knows is one of the person I said sack even before and the Eric Ten Hag. Let this guy go. The guy we had, what's his name? Eric Ramsey. Let him go, bro. Because he was
yeah.
supposed to be our set piece coach and he wasn't doing anything. The minute he agreed his deal with the MLS club, I believe, bro. We
Mm.
started.
Yeah,
Tess, remember the week he accepted the MLS offer. We scored a goal from set piece.
Didn't you see his? Did you see his interview? He said, right. He said, I was talking about Sir David and Bradford, right. He said once when he met him, right, and it was like they're bringing new talent. Basically, what he was saying in the interview that it wasn't good enough to be at United. That's what he was saying. Basically, it wasn't good enough to be at United because he said he was talking about Sir David Bradford, how they basically like they look for the way he speaks is like he needs the best, right? And he was talking about him learning and something like that. Basically saying I wasn't good enough
Yo, so that
for
that
United. Yeah.
big ups to Eric because he knew that he wasn't meeting up what those guys wanted, right? But the previous regime would have said, "Don't worry, you're fine. As long as you have this, as long as you have the degree, you're fine, bro. You learn on the job." But these guys have come in to say, "Okay, you know what? We need the best of the best, right? Best in class." For me,
yeah,
that was another thing that made me upset with Ole. You were more like a rookie coach in terms of handling a big size club, right? But you also allowed the club to give you rookies in terms of no disrespect to them, but Carrick and McKenna and Eric's Ramsey, those guys were not experienced in that place. You were not experienced. You pack not. It's like the case of big lip, no big teeth, no lip to cover it. You understand? So I'm like, so but now getting this guy in, now this guy is known. So again, Jason Wickers is at the center of this one. He knows this guy from way back, right? This guy has a track record and all of that. So we just
No,
hope
but
that
it's crazy. You're hiring a head coach. Hey, God.
for
head
a
coach.
set
Imagine.
as a
As a
set
head
piece coach.
coach. God.
No, now
God.
that's why when Banks is saying we are cooking, we are actually cooking. This one we are cooking. We
And
brought
it
we brought
really makes sense. And when you look at everything
It
they've done so
doesn't
far.
even I like Van Nistelrooy, but
uh,
a head coach becoming assistant manager. Like, hey, God.
Imagine you brought in a manager who managed at PSV, who
yeah,
won a trophy at PSV.
yeah.
You were able to convince him to come and be an assistant coach. Then you brought in a manager from Go
Go
Ahead
ahead.
Eagles
Yes.
to come and be work like I don't understand. Now you are going for a manager again,
Yeah,
head coach. No man, this is why I said if Tenag does not, Tenag needs to succeed, man.
No,
he succeeded.
no, Banks. But Banks, haven't you? Didn't you read the report that they said that there's no pressure on Ten Hag to get top four?
Mm.
Yeah,
There is.
I read
Yeah,
it
they
today.
said they
But
come out and said there's no pressure on Ten Hag. They like all of these things they are doing is not to put pressure on the man. It's
I want
so
to
that the
see good
man can walk. They want to see the
ish.
man get United back to the position. So they like Tess already said it. See Eric's interview. He already knew that these guys wanted best in class. Igbaga. See then Harry Maguire is waiting for somebody to come and tell him. This guy's man. So what I'm trying to say is men are reading the room. Men are actually seeing that these guys see what they want, right? They looked around, looked for manager that could fit in what they wanted, and they're like, you know what, these guys are no, these guys can't fit in. Ten Hag is here. Is close. What they were looking for maybe was an 85%, but they didn't get it. All they were getting was, let me put it this way, let's say they were getting 55 or 60. And Ten Hag was like 70, close to that 85 that they were, or even the 90 they were looking. You know what? Let's take this Ten Hag. Let's just trigger one more here, right? Let's see what he does in one more year. If after that 1 year we look at it and be like, okay, and he does well. The man has won 2 trophies, even in terrible season, he won the FA Cup. So let's see what
Yeah, I
he
don't
can
know.
do.
Yeah, I don't know.
So these
And
are
team
the so
assistant.
you can actually from what they are doing test, you can actually sit there and start picking this guy's brain and start seeing where they're at in terms of what they want to do, right? Bringing head coach to come and be a set piece coach to come and say, okay, when you cross the ball like this, how you head it, a head coach,
Yeah,
bro. So
when are
that
the
in
heads?
is
You see
that
the
that in itself should tell you where these guys are. So if you are a Maguire waiting for them to come and ring you up and tell you, bro, you need to move, then then you're not reading the room, bro. Then you do
yeah,
then you're not prepared for what is about to happen. You will be.
honestly.
I would rather say you will be left behind.
Mm-hmm. He's not in. Now, look at this guy. I call him shit house. This guy called Joseph Guardol. I call him shit house because this guy is called Guardol talks too much, and yet they do nothing because It was because the fact of Ten Hag beating Man City in the FA Cup final. That is why Man U will not be facing the likes of what's it called, Noah FC and Noah FC and Bala FC, whereby they don't have stadium, they train on and with the academy. So look at what he said here now. Like this guy is a shit house, complete shit house. I just want to win the community shield and show that we are ready for next season. If we win that game, it will be like a wind behind our backs,
Back
pushing
pushing us.
us. And this is what the exact thing they said against United in the FA Cup. I think it was Rodri who said it.
So
I think it was,
for me, I think because I put it like this: the spotlight, the media spotlight, right, is on
yeah.
United. Good, bad, ugly. The media spotlight is on United. So
Mhm.
this most of these players would have been like, "What's going on? Every little thing is United. Good, bad, ugly is
Yeah,
United. Let's be there too. Let's make our presence known." Oh, don't forget, it's also a strategy to put Man City in the face of people as well, right?
yeah, true, true,
So
true.
even whilst United will want to keep most of their dirty laundry, don't bring it in the public, right? They want to even hide some of those things. The media goes to dig it out, right? They are
Yeah, dig it
wondering,
out.
yeah, they are wondering how can our success not be as loud as this guy's downfall? You
Yeah,
understand? So most club are actually like, these guys are everywhere. So if I was playing for a rival club, I would say the same thing, bro. I want to put my club out there. Like I would say the same. So I don't take what he's saying offensively, but I still wouldn't take it with the. I would just he's just talking because football in
yeah,
itself, anything could happen, right? He's just talking, right?
I can guarantee
yeah,
if they were playing like let me say like let me say Tottenham or
He
some
won't be saying he won't come out and say
he
this.
won't he won't bother
he
he won't
won't,
bother
he
to
won't,
he
he
won't
won't.
bother.
It's because
Because he
they're
knows now, he won't. He won't.
so
And one thing is that one thing I always explain to people is this. I tell people, let's just drop the fact that Manchester United might not be playing well on the pitch. But when it comes to the financial part of it, the commercial part of it, Manchester United are one of the biggest club in the world. You know, let's drop out. Like they will still come outside, have good revenue and everything
Yeah.
than Manchester City. And this is what I see here. Like Manchester City won a treble, a
Yes.
treble. They were doing a parade, a parade. It was empty. And you have the likes of Girona, like is it Girona? Yeah, Athletic Bilbao winning Copa del Rey. The road was filled with everything, and yet Manchester City won a treble. Nobody was even on the parade. Let
I see.
Man U win a treble. They
Eh?
will close the door of football.
They will let Man U win a treble now in this dispensation, now in this era, bro.
Bro,
England would
The
have
other is
to.
not
bro,
They will the king of England would have to declare that one day.
bro. As in,
Like
if my win a treble now with this level of what it calls with this exposure right now, oh my god, like everybody,
you
yeah,
see, from play all over the world, people will want to be in that parade just for that event. Guys, Banks, I think I would. This is where I would have to say a big up because I have my little one here.
yeah.
Guys,
I'm about to do guys, please, man. Please, I've just pinned their chat on the stream. Please, I want you guys to go there, show some love. It's 217. Please, I want we know when I will do it. I mean, before tomorrow morning, you should be on at least 250 at least. I know if you're watching live, please subscribe. If you're not watching live, as you come on live, please let's go there and show them some love, man. Let's build this community because you are going to see them more often on the channel. They are going to be coming more often, and I hope to go to the channel as well. But please, I'm begging you guys, let's do it tonight. Let's just subscribe, boost it up, and we are putting a community, guys. And Drex, you can go sort out your team. Tesh, don't
yes,
worry, I'll let you go. We are going to do more this inside. You guys should just rest because right now, what's the time? It's 9. Yeah.
nine, yeah, it's
So
nine.
yes, go
Big
relax
up
and
though, big up though,
big
man.
up though. I'm happy having you guys on the channel, man. I'm very, very
Thank you,
happy.
man. It's as honestly, I love the discussion is good. Discussion is good, as in,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think it's good. And I think you also big up to yourself, Banks. You've done an excellent job here. Big up.
You're always welcome, man. You're always welcome, man. So, guys, like I said, please go to the channel, show some love, subscribe, and subscribe to the channel, and let's just watch their content and see what they're all about. From now, for me, your boy Temba Bands, man. I'm signing out, guys. It's Harrios. good night. I see you guys on the next one.
Big up, guys.
And good night, my G.